I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will start with the roll call. If everyone could introduce themselves, starting from my right.
Joe Crawford, Assistant Superintendent.
Jen Samard, Business Administrator.
Michael Flynn, Superintendent.
Brenda Willis, School Board.
Michael Thiel, School Board Chair.
Jen Thoreau, School Board Vice Chair.
Jenna Paradise, School Board Secretary.
Jamie Cruz, School Board.
Karen Rand, School Board.
Jason McLeod, School Board.
Anthony Henry, Pinkerton Academy Liaison.
Thank you, everyone. First order of business will be the consent agenda. For tonight, we have the public meeting minutes of February 10th, 2026, and the manifests in the amount of $5,015,313.72, of which $4,419,363.98 is general payroll, and $595,949.74 is general expense. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by Jenna. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We have several visitors with us tonight, so we will start with our friends from Grinnell.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alyssa Lance, the principal of Grinnell, and Mrs. Moore, Lindsay Moore, my assistant principal. We are excited to welcome some of our first grade students here. I am going to turn the mic over to my one amazing first grade teacher, Miss Looney, and equally amazing reading specialist, Mrs. Draper, and let them take it from here.
Hi, good evening. I had notes, but now they're on my chair, but that's okay. I can work without them. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to our families who brought their kiddos tonight. We're going, Miss Draper and I work together pretty closely during our school days on literacy, and we have some of our learning that we've been doing. We have a few different activities for the range of the skill levels in our classroom, and so we're excited to share them with you. Nova, do you want to start? It's right next to you. Oh, is this you? Como? Okay. Come on up. Do you want me to hold it? Okay.
I like reading books. I read Mercy Watson with my friends. We also answer questions, and there was a word search. We talk about the characters and what is happening in the stories. Wait, do I read that?
No, keep going.
Mercy likes toast. Mercy is a pig. Mercy's parents are people, and their names are Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson. Sometimes Mercy gets into trouble, like trying to drive a car and flying out of it. Mercy has neighbors. Baby is nice, but Eugenia does not think pigs should live in houses. The next book we are going to read is Mercy Watson Fights Crime. There are more books in the series. I read Mercy Watson with Lucas, John Wesley, Jacob, and Nash.
Do you want to show your pictures? No. Okay. That's fine. Nova did do some. Nova did do some gorgeous illustrations of the characters and is making her own little book about Mercy Watson now as she works herself through the series. All right, Nash and Lucas, you ready? Oh, I have your poster. You can just put those here. Okay. You want me to stand in the middle? Why don't you go on this side? And you go on this side? Yep. And I'll just move it back and forth. There you go.
We started to read a book all about owls and answers questions. We made a poster. Our poster tells people facts about owls. We wrote about owls dinner time. They eat mice and insects and fish and snakes.
We learned that owls live everywhere. They live in deserts and in the cold, and in the rainforest and the mountains. Here are focal facts about owls. owls have short talons.
Owls hide and sneak up to eat food.
Owls can camouflage so they don't get eaten. Gray owls can hear mice moving under deep snow. Their talons grab the mice through the snow.
Nice work. You want to talk about your poster? Yeah. Okay. Who's going first? Nash, you want to go first? Yeah. Talk about your side.
My side, okay.
What side did you do?
I did these two.
Good. And what did you write about on those sides?
Okay. I wrote on owl homes. All owls live at different places. And some owls eat snakes, mice, and other owls and fish.
I did owls everywhere, and 4 cool facts about owls.
Good job, boys. And for our last presentation, we have some readers theater for you, so some performances to highlight some of the phonics skills that we've been learning in first grade. So volunteers, Maisie, you want to go first? Maisie and Anna? Yeah. Okay, who's Colmo? Okay. Ready? You want to go on this side? Okay. Okay. Who's first? Go ahead.
Ring, 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 ring. Is that my phone? Hello, is this Roan?
Hi, Roan. Hi, Roan. It is Cole. Do you want to come to my home? I have a kite we can use.
Yes, I will ride my bike to your home so we can use your kite.
Hi, Roan. Hi, Roan. Here is my kite, but I cannot get it to go up. It must have broke.
Why not will check it for you. Cool, it has a hole.
Oh no. Can we make a patch to fix it?
Yes, do you have an old cape that we can cut up? I can use the cape to patch the kite.
I can check, so I will check in my home. I did not find a cape, but I have an old rope. Can we use it?
Yep, it can cut and shape a patch for that rope for the kite.
Brown, then I can put the patch shape on the kite. What with tape? There we go.
Here, grab the rope so it will go up. I hope it doesn't not drop.
Round this was, it can go up. Watch it. Dive by my home, Roan.
Watch for the pole coal. We do not want it to poke the kite.
Roan, this was fun, but do you want to stop and ride bikes to the cove?
Yes, I will get and we can go. We can spend time in the sunshine at the cove.
Good work, girls. Okay. And Lily and Charlotte, you want to take them? You can take them home. Thank you. Okay. Ready? All right, you're on the side. I'm going to lean down so it'll be easier to pass it to you. All right. You start.
Hi, my name is Mole. I am 9 and I like to play the pipe. Are you in the band too? Hi, I am June. Yes, I am in the band and I play the flute. Let me play it for you.
You can do it. Want to do your flute? No. Okay.
That is not in tune. Tune. Let me check it. There is stuff in tube. Oh no, what is it? There are notes with much music in it. June. That is where I put them so they did not get lost. I can get them for you with a long pin stick and a bit of tape. Here you go. Thank you. You mold the tube. Did not delete the notes. They are fine, so I can still play the song. Do you want to play with me? Yes, I will play the pipe as you play the flute. 1, 2, play. I like. Wait. That was a cute song. What is the name of it? The name is the Rose Code. I made it up. I like it. Can we play it for the band? fans. We can play at the site next to the. What's that say? Dune by the big phone pole. I think I can do it. I will be brave. Oh, which state will we play it? Let me check. Can you play? Late in the eve on June 5. Yes, I can play. Then I will invite my pals. I will be brave. It will be a fine eve.
Nice job. That was great.
So I just wanted to say that, first of all, I'm so proud of the students for coming up here, because it's not an easy thing to do. But what many people don't necessarily realize is that all of that might be happening at the same time within a focus block, as an example, and Ms. Looney and Mrs. Draper are going around to different groups. So I wanted to showcase the teachers as well as the students with this. We have the book clubs happening with Mercy Watson and other books. We have the Readers Theater, and the students were a little shy tonight, but if you walk in the classroom, they are performing as well. And we have the students working with the presentations and the book club with the chart and figuring out some additional writing and pulling out facts. And all of those things are happening at the same time. So I just want to thank the teachers for what they do and the kids for being such great students.
I guess, do you have any questions for us before we go, or?
I just want to say thank you, and I also want to say how proud I am of you guys. You did a great job. And did you think about Penelope when you were reading in the microphone? Right? You're rock stars, just like she was. Yeah. Good job. I read at Grinnell, and they helped me read my book. They did a great job helping me read my book. So I knew they'd be awesome today. Good job.
Any other questions? I just want to say thank you to my teammates who have helped. We work very closely together, and I know that they're watching tonight. And so hello to Mary, Beth, and Sam. And we work very closely together, and so we bounce ideas off off each other a lot. And I'm very grateful to have them to support us and the kiddos, and we share really well. So thank you to them.
Thank you guys for coming.
And thank you to these kiddos who came tonight and were really brave. Nice job, friends.
Yep, it's not easy to get up and read in front of all these people, so you guys did a fantastic job. Thank you for coming tonight.
You can go ahead and kick it right to Hood.
All right, we've got our Hood group.
Yes.
You guys are up.
Ms. Kern?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for having us. I'm going to have my friends go ahead and introduce themselves. I'm Melanie Kern. I'm one of the assistant principals at Gilbert H. Hood, and we're very excited to be here tonight. So these are some of my friends. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Gabe.
My name is Gabe. Yep. Okay, your turn, Silver. Over here. You say, my name is Gabe. My name is Karen. Good job. Ready? Okay, we're going to step this way. Let our friends.
My name is Mrs. P. Better Ashley.
My name is Kendall. My name is Aubrey. My name is Kennedy.
My name is Jackson.
I'm Beth.
I'm Gabe.
My name is Dalen. My name is Colin.
So we wanted to share an amazing addition to our Gilbert H. Hood school community. Wear your glasses because that's helpful when they're on your head. When I started at Gilbert H. Hood 4 years ago, I was quickly approached by Mr. Manchester, who is in the audience with us, and Danielle Parody about finding ways to promote co-curricular activities that focused on the inclusion of all students. Russ, in his role as our chair for our National Junior Honor Society, and Danielle, our athletic director, shared the same vision and passion for ensuring that all students feel seen and have a place at Gilbert H. Hood. We knew we needed to start building a unified program. Last year, Russ and I spearheaded a group of students and staff to raise money for the New Hampshire Special Olympics. We raised money, participated in the middle school dip, sort of, and earned our certification as a unified champion school. This year, Danielle and I decided we truly wanted to build a unified basketball team. With the unwavering support of Mrs. Peabody, our aisle teacher and coach of our team, and Mrs. Kalinsky, our secretary and fundraiser extraordinaire, we launched our very first unified program at GHH. Over the past several Fridays, these amazing people, in addition to our numerous educational assistants, have come to work with our student athletes. They have supported our students without wavering and without hesitation. Their dedication to our students has not gone unnoticed. To say that it has been a success would be an understatement. It has brought our school community together in ways that none of us could have imagined. These students standing with me tonight are some of the best human beings I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. I am in awe of their empathy, selflessness, and compassion. The joy and excitement when we held our first games was overwhelming. Our entire student body was able to watch and cheer on our athletes and partners. One student was overheard as they were leaving the gym saying that it was better than watching the Super Bowl. Programs like these stretch students and staff in ways that otherwise might not be seen. We are looking forward to expanding the program to other sports, the arts, and music. This Thursday, we have a culminating jamboree at GHH where other schools will be coming to compete in games at both 10 and 12, Ms. Peabody? 10, 11, and 12. We would like to extend an invitation to all of you to come see this opportunity. We will welcome you all to come watch any one of the games if you are available to do so. I'm going to have some of the kids just share quickly their favorite part about playing unified basketball. Gabe, come here. What do you like about basketball?
I can score.
You can. You can shoot it in the hoop.
Yeah.
Do you score points?
Yeah.
High five. Good job. You want to tell your favorite part about basketball?
You tell us.
Come on. You tell them.
Oh, okay.
Do you like to shoot baskets?
Shoot baskets.
You like to shoot baskets. Yeah, good job. High five. You want to cheer? Go ahead.
I love practicing with everyone. It makes my day. My favorite part is just the community, and the kids are just always so happy to be there, and it makes my day. I just love being there.
My favorite part is working and getting to see the kids grow and get better at basketball. They're all so sweet.
My favorite part is just kind of hanging out with all the kids in the unified program. They're all just like really fun to be around.
My favorite my favorite part is meeting all the kids and hanging out with all the people.
So we have about 30 kids in total. So we have partners and we have athletes. So our partner students come and they participate in the practices, participate in games, and they are paired up with our student athletes. Gabe and Cam are here to represent tonight. As you can imagine, some of our other friends are a little bit tired by this time in the night, or they would have been here. We do have one parent, if you can give us 1 minute, who would just like to share what the experience has meant to him. This is Mr. Fallon, Gabe's dad.
Hey everyone, my name's Dave Fallon. My son Gabe is one of the Unified athletes, and just really wanted to express my appreciation for the staff, the Unified partners, being able to kind of, go to the Jamboree and watch the games has been just an amazing experience. Not just with the partners that have been so kind to our athletes, but also the entire student body. Having, probably 200 kids from Hood cheering on these kids just was amazing to watch. And, we spent a couple hours and your face just hurt. We were smiling so much. It was just an amazing experience. I know Gabe absolutely loves it. And, it's just been an amazing program. And, any new sports or, like I said, chorus music, anything like that, I think Gabe would love to join because he just had a great experience and and yeah, it's written all over his face. So I just want to say thank you to the staff and especially the partner program. It's just been a really great experience.
Did Dad do a good job? Yeah, he did a great job. I agree. So we are looking to expand the program to other sports, like we said, and other activities that'll include art and music as well, because there are a variety of activities that the kids are looking forward to. Is that this year? Well, you want us to do more this year? Yeah, it's been great. It was pretty encouraging and amazing to see. We had an after-school game. I forget if it was on a Friday or I forget what day. It was a Friday, and the number of kids that showed up to support after school was just incredible to see. So it really has changed our school community as a whole, and I'm just incredibly proud of this group of kids. So just to extend the fund a little bit, we do have a short video that will sort of wrap up what our season's been like. You ready? You're going to be on the TV. That's our entire group.
Number 15, Cameron Margot.
A special thanks to Jonathan Harding for putting that together for us. So thank you all. Say thank you.
He did. Thank you for coming, guys. This is awesome to see that we have a unified basketball program here in our middle school. I mean, it's an amazing program. It's awesome to hear about how excited the entire student body gets around it. Are there many middle school programs in the area that you guys play against?
There are a number of teams that are they call them recreational and competitive. So the kids are recreational and or competitive, and where we're I know I'm loud, but not that loud, right? There are recreational and competitive teams across the state, and so Ashley has worked hard to find recreational programs that are just starting, and so it takes a lot of adult support to run those practices and those games, and so we've had the opportunity to play a couple of them, and like I said, we'll be playing a few more in the Jamboree on Thursday. So,
awesome. yeah, I've heard a lot about the unified program in Salem. My wife works at Salem High, and yeah, it really, it unifies the community.
It really does.
More so than just the game.
And I just want to add, I'm pretty impressed with you even have cheerleaders for you guys. That is wonderful.
Yes, our cheer team has supported, which has been amazing.
Excellent.
Anybody else have any questions?
You had said that you're looking also to do crafts and music. Have you talked to the director of like Pinkerton, the band, to see about volunteers to come over to do either like music lessons or to run small jam bands with them?
That's an excellent idea. No, we had not contacted anybody up at Pinkerton, but it is a great idea for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
coming. We'll take a 5-minute recess to let everybody clear out, but thank you again.
It's whatever they decide to do it, I guess.
Welcome back, everybody. Next up, we have some director reports. This is an item Mike introduced shortly after he came on last year. We have each of the directors from the SAU office here with us tonight to give a quick update from their department. So,
Thanks,
Mike.
Thanks, Mike. In your board packet is your one-page summaries. Some went a little bit further than one page, but that's fine. And the goal tonight is to give you a brief overview. We're not, kind of touch point, middle of the year, what we have going on, what we've accomplished, and maybe what we're going to try and wrap up by the end of the year. So we'll go each one, same as last time. If you have questions, feel free to ask, and we'll go from there. So I don't see anyone running up to go first. Oh, Dr. Dancy.
Mine was 2 pages because I did. Do I have to? No, it's on. It's on. Mine was 2 pages only because I copied and pasted what Ben said from First Student. So, 3 things to talk about tonight. First of all, East Derry is getting a fiber upgrade. They spent 4 days without internet this year, and so that was not a good thing. So we contacted Consolidated, and we're moving from a consumer fiber to a commercial fiber, and that'll be finished by April 10th. So it's managed as well. So if it does go down, they come right out as soon as they detect that it's down. So that's something that we haven't had before. When I got here 7 years ago, they were on 5 megs. And then we upgraded them to 500 megs, and so that's been good, except for it's just not always reliable, so we're upgrading that. This morning, I conducted my first walkthrough with a company to examine our PA systems in our buildings. We have lots of issues with speakers and inconsistencies on with our PAs in all of our buildings, and this RFP would make them all the same, and so that we could actually do a district-wide announcement from the superintendent's office if he needed to do that. So that's what we're looking at right now. We have a couple of vendors that have scheduled walkthroughs, and the RFP process will be finished at the end of April, and then we'll move on from there. The last thing that I wanted to share with you was the progress on the electric school bus infrastructure project. As you can see in your report, they're finalizing all of the plans and everything right now, and they look to start working over at First Student this summer and have the buses in about a couple of months after the school year starts. So I'm not going to go read through all that stuff. You've got it in your packet, but that's my report. If you have any questions.
I had a couple of questions. The PA systems, how is that being funded?
Well, we're looking at possibly.
I got it.
Go ahead.
As we get to the end of the year here, I asked my directors to build a list of things that may have not been done or completed in the past that may be an opportunity with year-end fund balance. So it just depends on the priority of the list, but we got to make sure we have the numbers and the accuracy so that we know what we're communicating to you guys as a board when you're making your decisions, but more importantly to the community on where their money's going. So that's where we are.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. You said a couple. That was one.
Oh, with the electric buses, has there been any more discussion with First Student about what savings we're realizing? Obviously, they're getting 25 brand new buses through a grant, no cost to them.
Yeah. At this point, no, we haven't sat down and talked with them yet. Partly because I don't think we ever realized it was actually going to happen until now, and so now that it is moving forward and we see something on the ground, then I'll start talking to them again.
All right.
I have a question. What does RFP stand for?
Request for proposal.
Oh, okay.
You set up all of the requirements that you want from a vendor, and then they put in a bid based on all of those requirements. That way you get an apples to apples bid because you list out all the details of everything that you need, and they have to address everything that's in the RFP. That way, when you get to that bottom line figure, you know that it's a cost thing after that. Everybody has bid on the exact same project.
Cool, thanks.
How many electric buses was it?
25.
So the whole fleet is going to be electric?
No, we have 29 large buses, and then we also have about 15 to 20 vans.
Okay. So I'm just curious, because I don't know much about electric vehicles, but I was wondering if during the winter, if there are any issues with the electric buses, are there going to be backups? Like, do they ever have problems not starting in the wintertime?
There will still be some gas buses on site, but no, these things are designed for winter weather. They wouldn't have put them here. There are a lot of places that have weather like ours that use electric buses.
Okay, thanks.
We will not have a whole fleet of gas buses, but we will have some on reserve that sit there in the parking lot.
Thank you, Dr. Dancy.
You're welcome.
Hey, everybody. So we've been plowing. Any questions?
He's been waiting to say that all day.
How's it been going? How's it been going?
It's going
With the
good.
plowing and the
Yeah.
shoveling, good?
The fleet returned unharmed. So this report actually was good because you could see all of the actual work requests and work orders that we've done in between the plowing, as well as planning with the contractors and the consultants for this summer coming up. We've done 711 work requests in September, and if I could break that down into what those consist of, it's anything. It's really, we're here for support, so it could be, moving boxes, fixing leaks, security stuff, fixing doors. Our stuff gets used a lot, like when the kids come into school, those doors open and close millions of times. So there's always something for us to be fixing, and usually that's what those work orders consist of. There's really nothing, large on there. It's most stuff we can handle. We have an emergency phone number that we split with the maintenance guys. I have 4 maintenance techs. They carry the phone for a week. So every 4 weeks, they get the phone. And that number is used by our third party, and it's used by district people or custodians at night if they have an issue. Rather than have them try and call any one of us, they call that number, and those guys respond to it. We've had 72 of those calls since September. Usually it's for monitoring or security, and it could be anything from a faulty sensor to a school that blew up a bunch of balloons that day and they're blowing down the hallway, and we can show up and the police will go and it will be balloons. Fire alarm troubles, water leaks, things like that. As far as inspections, we use the vacation time when the kids aren't there to try and squeeze in as much as we can, especially for the biannual stuff. So like we've done the emergency lighting, the kitchen hoods, try and keep those things current, and then in the summer we'll do those again, just to kind of keep up with it as we go. Some of the larger improvements we had over this winter, we had 2 boiler sections at Grinnell that the seals had failed. That was a major project, and thankfully we had 2 boilers. We were able to continue on with school and just shut 1 boiler down and work on getting those sections replaced, and thankfully those sections were readily available. Barca, we've had a lot of issues in one section of the school. We were able to use the last vacation period to take down the heating system and try and put stuff in, strainers and valves to try and resolve those issues that have been in Barca for years and years and years. We're hoping it will help. It'll take more cold weather, which hopefully we're not going to have, to be sure. But those rooms were pretty consistent, a couple degrees cooler than other rooms, which made people uncomfortable. So we're working on that. We had a hot water mixing valve at Hood that we did. That was a fairly large project. We replaced a bunch of valves that were installed in the 50s. Barca, we also did some pump replacements. We built aisle cubbies at East Derry and did some minor roof repairs on some of the metal roofing that was kind of left over from last summer, carried into the fall and this winter. We did district-wide carpet cleaning and normal PM work on HVAC units. And I guess while, doing the first 3 bullet items and also plowing, if I didn't mention, we've been really focusing on the bond work that's coming up this summer, which is taking up a lot of our time. So between walking contractors around, meetings, things like that. I put 2 small graphs on that second page. It's just kind of interesting to see on the first one what August, September, and October look like when the teachers come back and the kids start getting into the buildings. And a lot of that is, believe it or not, moving things around, making everybody comfortable in their space. And, classrooms move around, teachers move to different spots. So those numbers are a little bit higher then, and maybe some of the things that were kind of on their way out during the summer, they're found when everybody gets back. So it generally declines a little bit, and as the weather warms up, those will pick back up. So that's it. Any questions?
I know you've referenced a joke several times on the winter we've had, but I honestly just want to commend you and the crew because slips, trips, and falls are obviously always our biggest liability, and we've had a pretty successful winter with all the icing. I know we've had a few things, but we try and address them right away. It is a grind, especially when I'm texting you at 4 a.m. saying, can we open? Can we not open? But your group has toughed it out, and all of us are a benefit because of your work. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you again, Jeremy. I mean, all the there's been a lot of talk about all the big projects lately, but all the stuff that you guys do every day to keep our schools running, our students and teachers comfortable, couldn't do it without you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I think it's been almost a year since I've been in front of you guys, so it's nice to be here. But I will start with the HR update. So job fairs, we've attended 3 in the past 2 weeks. Those were mainly nursing and health services and psychology. So it was really interesting getting in touch with the kids that are going to be graduating soon and seeing what they're interested when it comes to their first opportunity out of college. Try to talk a lot about our benefits, the pension, the $2,600 we provide towards student loan reimbursement. So hopefully that kind of pushes them to come towards our direction. We have 3 more lined up. Those are the educational career fairs. So St. A's Education Career Fair, Plymouth State, and then we have Riviera. So I'll be able to connect with some of the graduating teachers or teachers that are seeking internships to kind of see like what they want to do. Then the boring stuff, making sure that all of our paperwork in HR is reflecting the 26-27 school year calendars, any onboarding paperwork, stuff like that. Gearing up for open enrollment. This will be my first time pushing out open enrollment, so I'm super excited. I have a couple meetings set up with Health Trust to make sure that everything goes seamlessly as possible. But of course, there might be some hiccups, so we'll get to those when we get to those. We're going to be posting retirement vacancies this week, so I'm excited to get those posts up. They're going to be internal for 10 days, and then we're going to push them out externally, and that's just per the collective bargaining agreement. On my free time, I've been trying to update the staff portal, making it so that our teachers, staff, custodians, everybody has access to benefits or anything related to HR, cleaning that up a little bit to make it more user-friendly. Thank you, Clifton, for giving me access. Improved a couple processes while I've been here in my first year, just slowly chipping at it. So improving the fingerprint process. We've seen 2 to 3 day turnaround on those, which is really nice. And then the teacher remuneration. So just cleaning that up and putting a lot of the ownership on the teachers. And my only job is to verify because a lot of those do come through. And then last but not least, just collaborating with our legal team to push out a handbook, which will be out for the 26-27 school year, which is super exciting. But that's it. Any questions?
Been busy.
Trying to. If you want to see what our tables look like, follow the Derry Cooperative School District page on LinkedIn. So you'll be able to see all of the swag and everything.
How many retirements are we looking at this year?
I believe we presented 6. We do have 1 up in the air right now, and he's just waiting on the outcome of something that we're currently working on, I think school start times. So seeing if that's feasible for him.
Paula always insists that the administrative team likes and follows in LinkedIn. We're getting a lot of hits now.
Exposure. But yeah, thank you so much.
We're trying to keep up with Paula.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Paula.
Gen Z.
Hello, good evening. Seems weird not to be here every other week, so it's nice to be back. Starting with some program updates. Jeremy had touched upon the fact that there were some cubbies built over at East Derry. We've also had the NECC and IEL program move into their new space at West Running Brook. DEEP has opened a 5th classroom, and we are currently working with some other districts and doing some tours on some more trauma-informed practices and agencies to work with. For staffing, I feel like that is always I'm always talking to Paula about staffing. We still have positions open for paras, so if anyone's interested, please reach out. We interview on a regular basis. We have been able to fill the assistant director position with Kristen Mitchell, moving up from Gilbert H. Hood. Which has been helpful. It allows us to have better supervision across the district and be in all the schools. We've also had our facilitators attend a training with the state for their job as LEAs and going through the process of special ed and just kind of fine-tuning that with different regulations that come up and changes to the law. I think the biggest piece, which I am extremely excited about, and this kind of goes from every position that's involved in special ed, is the special ed aid reimbursement that we received this year. We were able to bring in $2.2 million back to the district, and that is a huge undertaking. That starts with the IEP being developed correctly, hours being correct, placement being correct, lots of checks and balances with that. Then there's a boatload of data entry that takes place at the SAU with my admin assistants. So shout out to Yvonne, Sue, and Kathy, who have retired. So this year, I hope that we are able to do the same, but with losing their 20 years of experience, we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed, and they are on speed dial. So those are kind of the highlights that are going on. As always, we are super busy and keeping to it. Are there any questions?
Questions?
All right. Great.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Last but not least.
Hi, everyone. So I'm here just to update you on what is happening in the curriculum area. So we had some really successful, positive growth in both achievement and in growth in our winter NEWA MAP assessment this year. We had, as a district, our ELA achievement is currently at the 62nd percentile, which is up from 59th percentile in the fall. Every grade level is above the 56th percentile, which really shows that we have strong consistency across the district. In math, our district achievement is at the 55th percentile, with grade levels ranging between 43rd and 60th percentiles. Overall, our growth in math is at the 50th percentile, which really means that we are making the expected progress nationally against national norms. A couple highlights in academics. Excuse me, is kindergarten in our district scored 72 percentile in math, which shows that we have a strong number sense foundation for those students. And our second graders in ELA, they scored at the 64th percentile, which really was from 48th percentile in the fall, which is a huge significant jump. So that really tells me that the past couple of years, our phonics instruction has really worked and they're sustaining, and because that's a large growth for a short amount of time. As you all know, we implemented a new ELA curriculum in the fall for grades 5 through 8, and that is Open Up Resources. And really, that is showing deep knowledge, deep comprehension. Our students are moving beyond basic comprehension and really thinking more deeply. The teachers have reported back to me and my curriculum team that they are talking about the books in the hallway. The students are really making those connections from their self and the text to the world, using the vocabulary words and things like that. So that has been a huge benefit, and that really just shows how hard our teachers and our students are working in the classroom. Over the next few weeks, our district is going to be celebrating the Read Across America. So our elementary schools will have community visitors, they'll have author visitors, they will have different games that will go on. One of our middle school, I should say, Gilbert H. Hood, they are all reading one book as an entire school, one novel, and they will be finishing up our celebration with the author of that book. We were able to get that through Title IV funds, which is amazing. And then we also held a community night, a family night at the DVS library, and we had a lot of families, and it was great to see them. They all left with loads of books and boxes of books. We had to wheel them with the old chairs, so that was really great to see. They were so excited to have those books. And then for the future, towards the next trimester, we are still working on, supporting our teachers and instruction for professional development. So tomorrow we have a teacher workshop day where some of our math specialists and some people that went to our CARES professional development will be doing some mini workshops around their work for the teachers. We also are having math workshops in the summer, responsive classroom to support CARES, and some ELA training also in the summer. So those are basically our highlights. It's all good. It's all good and positive. Any questions?
A comment and a question. So I was very pleased to see the jump in second grade from 48th percentile to the 60th percentile for ELA. My understanding is that second grade is unique because it's the first time in the district among all the grades that the test is kind of administered differently.
Yes.
It's dictated to them in kindergarten and first grade, and in second grade, they have to read it themselves and interpret it themselves.
Yes.
So I guess I'm curious, because with that context, thinking about it more broadly, can we attribute the gains that were made during that period of time to gains in ELA, or can we attribute them to a skill in taking the test? We would typically see some summer slide in the fall anyhow. So I'd be curious to see how second grade tests year upon year. And I'd also be curious to see how second grade in particular scored last year in the wintertime versus this year in the wintertime. Just to flesh that out a little bit more, because if that gain is great, that's tremendous. I want to make sure that the skills being gained there are language related.
Yes, and they definitely, this is their third solid year, so that would be a second grade would be their third solid year with UFly, which is our phonics program. And so that systematic approach, explicit approach is really what's making the gains, I believe. Also, our ELA and our math, our new curriculum to standards, but everything is in a progression and it's a lot more aligned. So what we're seeing is we're not seeing that summer slide as much. We're seeing a really sustainable, consistent growth over time, and it just keeps going up. So that is really good. We're making small steps in the right direction for that.
Thank you. Yeah. And then the other question I had was regarding math, because a few years back, the district made the investment in math specialists. My understanding was that those were interventionists during the pandemic. That position changed to specialist shortly after that. The district kept those positions on. The math gains that were made here were attributed to a focus on instructional practice, strong Tier 1 instruction. I'm curious what the data is to support the use of math specialists. And
They are phenomenal.
Right. I'd like to see the data on
Yes.
that, though.
So-
Anecdotally, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. I know that the math specialists are doing work in the district. I'm curious what's happening. What types of interventions are they providing? And what types of gains are the students that they in particular are working with in, say, focus group? Because to me, that's a very important thing to do. The district made the choice to invest in that position. So
the math specialists are a very different role than the math interventionists, and I want to be clear about that. So math interventionists only took kids that were in the lowest range. That is not the case with the math specialists. They are both coaches. They go into the classroom and they have a block every single day that they see every single class. They spread out, or every single grade level, I should say, in a day. And they also take students, but every 4 to 6 weeks, we have data now that we will reassess. We relook at those students in the whole grade level, and then we regroup the students based on the data, which was not happening in the past. So some of our math specialists are seeing the top kids, some of them are seeing middle, and some of them are seeing at the lower end, depending on the cycle of students. So we definitely have data to support that, but you're not going to see just like an interventionist data across. It's really more so you'll see it as we go, like the kindergarten, for example, the 72 percentile growth, that really is a direct line of what math specialists are doing, because they're going in, they're supporting, they are talking about number sense, they are putting all activities into Tier 1 and into the focus block. So that's a little bit different. So it's really like on grade level data. We'd certainly have their own individual data with the students for 6 weeks, but really it's about the grade level. And we are like seeing increases because we didn't have a lot of number sense foundation in the past, and so now we are. And also I have to note that our math, we also made the move this year to 7th and 8th grade. We switched them over from another math program to Envision. So now we are completely aligned, K-8 with math Envisions, and 7th and 8th grade teachers got training on that, and they have liked it from the math program. So we're also seeing increases that way too, because now we're more aligned vertically.
To stay on the math, so you highlighted here growth in ELA, so 3%, 62% in winter. Do we have numbers for math? It just says district achievement at the 55th percentile. Overall district growth is at the 50th percentile. Are there numbers to show what that growth is?
So the growth is by the classroom, so that's on a norm. So we're at, all of their classes are at, it will show me between fall and winter, it will show me the growth, which is 50th percentile. Before it was like 40th percentile in the past. So we are increasing, which is great. Our achievement is 55th percentile, and we were 54th percentile in the fall. So we're going up steady. It's taking a little bit longer for the math as a whole. That's nationwide too. That's not just a Derry problem.
I have a question, because there's two relevant questions in regards to data. How often, I'm looking for past practice, how often would you receive a full data report to the board level? This isn't good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just trying to re-norm what we should and shouldn't be doing.
For me, Mike,
Yeah.
I like to see consistency across subjects, right? So if we're presenting, or if you guys are presenting something ELA and it's kind of got 3% growth, I would also like to see that math shows whether it's flat, there's a decline, there's a growth, just so it looks the same, right?
Okay.
So when I read this, I'm like, what does that mean, right? I can tell there's a 3% growth in ELA, but math gets a little murkier, right? And then to kind of piggyback on what the question Jen asked, the board made a decision to invest in the specialists, so we've got to be able to kind of pull that through and see exactly where that investment went. And then more importantly, what does the story tell, right? How are we looking for the future? And then where is the anticipation in terms of the impact that it's having on the classroom and on the kids?
Sure. That's something that we can definitely provide the next curriculum meeting, whenever that might be. But it's also at a board level. We would typically, my previous districts, we typically do a report out around May or June because we'd have all the points, right? Fall, winter, spring. So that's something we can also talk about adding to the agenda for the spring. If you want to come and visit.
I might just do that.
I had a question about the math specialist. When that was brought into the district, it was before my time, was there an end goal to hiring math specialists? Was it we need to see growth to get up to this point and then we'll reassess whether or not we still need it? Or was it just we want to hire a math specialist and there was an indeterminate amount of time?
Well, there was definitely a need for it. So we had math interventionists, and why we changed over from the math interventionist to the math specialist is because we wanted it, just like reading, we have reading specialists. We really wanted them to be a specialist in math because our math scores needed it. We needed tier 1 support. We needed instructional help. We needed to redo a lot of things in math. So them being able to go into the classroom and work in tier 1, they do a lot of curriculum work with me. So it's great because they get to be, with me as a team. We meet monthly or try to, and then they can scale out the work to the different buildings. So it shows consistency. And they see kids. So it was a dual role for that purpose. So I feel like, we had reading specialists. We had 2 reading specialists in each building. So we really wanted to increase the math specialists, and it's something that's really, really beneficial to our work as a whole.
So was it always intended to be a long-term investment, that it was going to be a position that was in for the long haul, as opposed to we're just fulfilling a need to bring up scores or whatever it was when
it was for the long term, and that's why we went with the math specialist and not the interventionist. The interventionist, you can go, you can see that going away, but not for the math specialists. And even, our math interventionists at the upper grades are fantastic too, because they're seeing direct kids and they're doing a little bit of both. But the math specialists at the elementary level are really doing more of the coaching model with the teachers. So,
okay, thanks.
It works, yeah. Anybody else?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious, the book that the entire 7th and 8th grade is going to read, and the author. Have you picked that already?
Yes, we do, and I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can get it for you.
Thank you.
They just introduced it as a school. So the 2 reading specialists and a classroom teacher approached myself and Mr. Marrow. I'm sorry, that was my old Mr. Edwards. And we wrote the Title IV grant for it, and he met with them, and they put it out to the whole school. They have a method of how they're going to read it, and every teacher, every single person in the school, and each kid gets a book and they bring it home. We did it last year too, but this year it's a little different. And then the author will come in to celebrate with us. So,
thank you.
I will get you that name.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay. Thanks, Kim. All right. Thank you, Kim. Good questions, everyone. I think that's everybody.
That's everybody.
So thank you guys for coming. This is, it's really informative to have you guys come and give updates on what you're each doing in your departments. So thank you for that.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. All right, see you.
All right, our next order of business is delegations and individuals. At this time, residents of Derry, parents of currently enrolled Derry students, and employees of the district may address the school board on matters that pertain only to school and district business for a period of time not to exceed 3 minutes per person. As a reminder, the board welcomes your input. However, questions are not entertained during the comment period. If you would like to speak, please come up to the microphone at this time and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is David Clapp, 3 Barkland Drive. I'll make this real quick. I just want to say thank you to Jason for the last 3 years, and it's been an honor serving with you, meeting you as a friend prior to being on the board. You brought a lot of value, and you got a lot done for this district as a team and individually as well. I would say what people don't see is the behind-the-scenes work at our committee levels, where Jason impressed me right off the bat. He brought a lot of value to our facilities committee early on, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, and we got a lot accomplished, Jason in particular. But just want to say thank you for everything you did and will do in the future, hopefully. But that's it. Thanks, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good night.
David.
All right, not seeing anyone else come to the microphone. However, the public comment period will remain open until 8:09 p.m. If you wish to speak prior to that time, approach the microphone and I will recognize you at the next break in the agenda. Our next item is student member updates, so we have Anthony with his Pinkerton update.
Well, hello. It actually kind of dawned on me as I was writing this update that the year's really almost over. And my time in school here is almost over too. So that kind of dawned on me because the first thing I had to talk about is the senior assembly, which is actually this Friday, believe it or not. We'll be going over the final exam schedule because it's different for seniors. Talk about, the end of year events such as the senior sunset, senior banquet. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, we had senior sunrise. So it's kind of a tradition that first day of school is the sunrise, last day of school is the sunset. So school year's a day. And graduation will be June 12th at 6 p.m. at Memorial Field. So mark your calendars. Keeping on with seniors, we are partnering with the freshman class to do a fundraiser. It was actually supposed to be a couple months ago, but we had to reschedule it. It's ice skating night. It's open to all students at Pinkerton. It'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Delta Dental Arena, which is in Hooksett. You can find tickets on My School Bucks, or we are selling them before school this Friday at 6:30 a.m. SATs are the 26th of this month. There will be no school for seniors that day. And couple last little performing arts items. Performing Arts Night is actually March 12th this week at the Stockbridge from 7 to 8:30. And Chicago the Musical will be 3 days, the 20th at 7 p.m., the 21st at 7 p.m., and the 22nd at 2 p.m., all at Stockbridge. And lastly, Jason, I'm going to miss you. I think 2 years as my seatmate, I think. So, yeah, I'll miss you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Anthony. Any questions for Anthony? All right, no motion tonight, so no next charter school updates, so we will move on to deliberations. One item to address tonight, we have 3 policies up for second readings. Did anyone have any questions or comments on these policies? Mike, did you want to add anything before I call for a vote?
I just wanted to thank everyone again for the student calendar. I know you've seen it twice this year, but it's going to really provide us a lot more flexibility as we move through these years, which I'll also mention in my superintendent's update.
All right, so I will take a motion to approve policies IC, BBA, and BK.
So moved.
First by Jason, second by Jamie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, our next item is administration reports. So first up is Jane with her business administrator's update.
Okay, I have a couple things that I would just like to talk about with food service. We actually, last week, for the second, well, actually, this would be the third year, the department, it was actually National School Breakfast Week, and we had the New Hampshire DOE, we had multiple representatives from there come. We also had New Hampshire Hunger Solutions, and we had 2 days of offering students some of the breakfast items that we serve on a regular basis to try to get them to see what we have, let them do taste testing. We had swag bags for them that were brought from the DOE and New Hampshire Hunger Solutions. We had a really great event. I think that we had a couple of school board members that came and passed out some of the samples. The students really love it. We did it at South Range this year and Barca on Wednesday and Thursday. So we think that that was a really good event. Christina also put in information about free and reduced meals, and interestingly, we received several applications over the weekend. So we're hoping that maybe that was the reason, is that they got sent direct home. And so we had several applications that were approved for students on free and reduced. So we were very happy about that. Christina also gave me her updated statistics on free and reduced meals. Currently, our district combined for free and reduced overall is a 22.22% of our students are approved for free and reduced. We were looking at comparisons from this February and last February, and we have 90 less students on free and reduced, but we also have less students enrolled as a whole, as a district. Even though we have less free and reduced, we actually have a lot more. We have 54 more students who were direct certified, meaning those are families who are receiving other other services through the state, and so we get them direct certified on a list from the state. They don't even have to fill out the application. So it's interesting that while we're getting less people on there, I think that the need is greater, that more of them are direct certified. So we do continue to get the information out for families, and again, encouraging the families who are approved for free. Even those numbers, we're not seeing as many kids participating in the program because they're entitled to free breakfast and free lunch. So, we like to get the message out to remind those parents that the schools do have the offering of breakfast in the morning. So if your kids are on free, please feel free to participate in those. If anybody has any questions, certainly reach out to Christina Lebelzik or any one of the kitchens. They'll be happy to help you or work with you on that. So I think that last week was a great success. Thank you to Christina Lebelzik and all of her staff. They did an amazing job. They love it. It's a very great event for them. I also wanted to highlight, I included in your packet the updated expenditures for our general fund, and again, anything on general fund we are right on par with where we expect to be right now. The same areas of concern that we've had throughout this year, again, out-of-district tuition, Pinkerton, we're obviously closely watching. We do have one more bill that will come in April for them, and that will be for the remaining 45 days. And transportation, as you know, we've had additional busing. There are not a lot of options for out-of-district placements, and so some of our placements are having to go a little bit further out than we've normally had, and so that required additional transportation for special education. On the revenue side, as Laura mentioned today, we did receive more than what we anticipated for special education aid, so that's included in your packet as well. Outside of that, for revenues, we are right on track of where we expected to be. The revenue, as you know, we also included that in your packet for what we've received. I just want to highlight, so we received an additional $355,000 for special education aid, and the other area of note is to, and I put that also in my summary, is to notice the general fund interest to date so far is $140,000, and we anticipated $150,000. A lot of that is thank you to David Clapp, our treasurer, who has divested some of the funds and moved them from we used to have a general fund checking account and a sweep account, and it's similar to a PDIP account. It is an interest-bearing account. However, when he looked at the PDIP account for the bonds, he realized that we could get more interest even for our general fund, so he now shifts money to the PDIP account and has collected quite a bit of interest. So we are definitely going to be ahead of schedule for our interest on our general fund. And I'd also like to point out the interest on the bond to date is a little over $578,000. And we have the remaining year, and if we do our projections, we anticipate that we would take in about $846,000. And David also manages that money and keeps that in a PDIP account, which is a higher interest-bearing account than just keeping it in our general citizens bank account. So that's where we are on revenues and expenditures. I also wanted to highlight, I was talking to the auditors this evening before I left here. They're finalizing our single audit for 24-25. A single audit is where they focus on
several projects. So because we're a district that has federal funds more than $700,000 for each individual project, we're always going to have a single audit, which is a focused audit. Last year's single audit was on ESSER, which feels to me like so far ago, so long ago, and also for special ed IDEA. So we are completing those. They hope to have them finalized by the end of this week. That's for 24-25. And then we also received the draft audit for the general audit for 24-25, and we'll be reviewing that as well. That's in draft form. So once those two are done, then we are up to date, and then we'll start working on, believe it or not, we'll be starting on pre-audit this spring for 25-26. And that's all I have for tonight. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I had a question. So you were talking before about the breakfast week. It sounds to me like the name of the game is swag bags. That seems like what maybe brought a little bit more of this in. I'm wondering if, so this breakfast week is something that's in the calendar, right? Like across districts?
It's a national, yes.
Is there something else that would be similar or such in the fall that could possibly attract the same amount of attention in the same kind of thing that, in the same vein of giving something out? I feel like sometimes when parents get those packets in the beginning of the year, they get so inundated with paperwork. It's just one of those things, but obviously something grabbed the kids, that they went home, they talked about it, they had the paperwork. It was a little bit more pinpointed as far as the interest. So maybe we can do something in September that would be along the same vein.
Sure, I can talk to Christina Lebelzik, and the Office of Child Nutrition for the state is always looking to highlight districts and our initiatives, and I'm sure that we would be able to get them to come down in September and do some type of a promotion and provide information for families. And I agree with you, and Christina was really pleased to get the applications over the weekend, and we attribute it to that. So
I think it was the chocolate bars. Those went the chocolate brownie breakfast bars.
The brownie bites.
Yeah, those were good.
Those are really popular. Yes.
And I had one other question. When I was looking at the revenue, there was a pretty big discrepancy in the adult ed that we anticipated versus what we're getting. Is that an anomaly of this year, that we're just seeing that there's just not a lot of extra funds that people are having to do adult ed, or did the course offerings change so much that it just hasn't brought in the same kind of attention? Should we drop down our expectations of what to expect in adult ed from, going forward, or is this just a one-off, does it seem?
I couldn't tell you the trend report because this is my first year, so.
Yeah, it is trending, I think, with less enrollment, less participation, and it is supposed to be a self-funded program. Barry Jane Corey is still runs that program, does an outstanding job. There's a lot of courses, for example, ballroom dancing. I think that the ballroom dancing instructor has been doing it, I think she's been like more than 30 years. She's been instructing ballroom dancing through our adult ed program. A lot of those courses, they're the ones that continue, the art programs, things like that. I do think that they've gone down a little bit. There's other places that they can go for those same offerings. A lot of the yoga, things like that, the exercise classes, those are still very popular. So I think she does try to get some interesting offerings. It's just, I think that there's not as much interest in signing up for the classes. She still sends out the same flyers. We've talked a lot about a variety of ways of getting the information out there, having an online sign-up portal, which we're working on because we're actually looking at that for even taking deep payments. We're looking for an online portal. So doing that for adult ed is also on our radar.
So at what point do we adjust, or when does the expectations change? Because I feel like when we look at it and we look at the expected revenue versus what we're getting, and I mean, to be dramatic, it's not a gut punch, but we look and we're like, oh, we didn't meet the threshold. When do we adjust the threshold so that it meets our relative expectations?
Yeah.
Well, I would say now it's on my list, as we've been talking about. That'll come through the next budgeting cycle in regards to areas. I can go back a little bit further rather than just a single year. We can go back and gather some data on the last 5-6 years and see course offerings, but more importantly, being self-run and being in the negative are a big difference. So that would come out essentially through the budgeting cycle next, well, not crazy to say, but in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Jan, I just want to echo what you said about the breakfast celebration. The kids love it. The samples are delicious. So one of the things that I hear is kids can't get into school and have breakfast and get into their classrooms. So if we could, and I don't know how to figure that out, but if there's a way to figure out a way for students to be able to have breakfast and get to class or something, we probably would increase our numbers.
Sure, we can definitely talk about that at a principals meeting and see how we can better accommodate that. I think might have been the last board meeting or the one prior where I mentioned the efforts that Christina and her staff and Emily at Next have really pushed a grab and go and a pre-order and dramatically increase the accessibility for those students to have breakfast. So we'd like to do the same for ours.
And I think that triggered parents to say, well, hey, if we can do it there, how can we accommodate other kids? And I always love the banana, I have to say. She's
what?
amazing.
She was, yeah, they definitely bring a lot of energy, and I think the kids were very responsive to that. They were awesome.
All right, any further questions for Jane?
Thanks, Jane.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up is Mike with his update.
Okay, I'm going to be kind of all over the place here. But starting tomorrow is the voting day, so encouraging all residents to go out and vote. We have a couple warrant articles on there that are important to us, but more importantly, I think it's just part of your component of being a citizen in Derry. We would really appreciate to creep those numbers up and have more people participating in the voting process. Along the lines of the voting process, I wanted to mention it while the students were here, but I think they stole the show, and I think that was the important part. But, I know we're in education, and it can be a hard business at sometimes, and we can be criticized easily for certain things that people may grab on a headline or whatever. More specifically, if you can't witness or watch what happened tonight and see that there's different ways to measure success in our public education, then I'd love to sit down and have a conversation. It's not always necessarily about a score that happened in May at a certain point in time in the year. It's about community coming together for students that may need some help in becoming a student athlete, or the phonics that we saw here as a first grade as they're partnering together. I just want to continue to emphasize that our public school system and what we deliver every day isn't just math, reading, writing, right? We're developing humans, and that's a bigger process, and that involves everyone. But more importantly, the teachers today and our administration, Ms. Curran, and then already blanking on who was here. The time and effort that they're putting in, I think that just goes to show what we're trying to do here in Derry. It's not necessarily, I'm also going to sit here and don't tell me that we're going to raise the bar around here. As it's something I said during my interview process, we have high expectations that we're going to continue to raise, but I just think we do a lot more. And I think it's been kind of evident as we've brought the students here all year long, whether it was learning Spanish with our high school students, whether it was early on, I'm forgetting already, but I think we've had a great job with presenting what we do every day in education. So thank you to everyone that came out. Speaking of which, Willy Wonka is coming up here March 20th at 7 o'clock, and then March 21st at 3 a.m., so that's the matinee. Update on start times. We've had a couple people reach out. We are getting closer to a conclusion of that committee that's made its way to my desk, and now I have to do my job in regards to the work. So we should have some information by the last meeting in March. That's my goal. We've mentioned the SAFE upgrade, SAFE grants. Is that correct? Have we mentioned the SAFE grants that we got approved? I'm losing track. So we applied in the fall. The state of New Hampshire put out a SAFE grant for upgrades for, more importantly, what we applied for was a keying system and upgrades to our cameras.
Oh, yeah.
So we're receiving $225,000, which will come off of the capital improvement plan that we're developing. So that's one of the best parts about grants. So that will come off there, which obviously funds can go towards another project. So that work has started. Jeremy's been going out for pricing. We're trying to work with the state on activating it on our side. Friday, there you go. Answers live. So we're excited about that. That's, speaking of Jeremy, if you've ever seen Jeremy keyring, it's insane. That will literally go down to a single key. So that's the time and effort that we'll be putting into that. Another hot topic that I get a lot of emails about is the last day of school. I'm here to tell you that I won't make any decision now until April because I don't feel comfortable. I don't know what will come our way, but at one of our first meetings in April, we'll lock that day in so that people can start their summer planning. Another update, we've changed our kindergarten registration process. As you're aware, I updated you in the winter, so that went live last week. That's correct. Crazy, we already have 216 signed up. So that's just to put that in perspective. We have a total of 276 for this year. So I don't know. This is an I don't know. I don't know if that's a trend because we opened it later, so more people were waiting and ready to go, where maybe it was more of a trickle process last time. We're running into issues already at East Derry with capacity, so that's going to start turning into an overflow thing with Barca pretty quickly. So we're working through that, but continue to tell your community members if they have a kindergartner to please register. The ULowell partnership that I mentioned, that is in full swing. That's with their grad program for public communications. They're working with Jane, Jeremy, myself, that CIP plan that we're going to look to have live in May. That's going to show a 5 to 10 year progression of what we're doing with our capital improvements. So just want to thank them. That they're doing some deep dive, data diving, and I'm excited for what's coming. Our assistant principals, we meet monthly with them. We meet with principals, directors, so forth and so on. But the assistant principals is a powerful group of women, and it's been fun to challenge them on some of our processes that we do here in the district. My most recent challenge to them, and I'm excited that we're going to be rolling out new transitional activities and plans in the district. So more specifically for our students that are transitioning from 4 to 5, and then transitional activities from grade 6 to 7. Rather than just being an open house in the fall, we're trying to do several events leading up in the spring so that students can become more familiar with the spaces, the faces, and the routine. So they're working hard on that. I'm excited about that. Kim kind of stole a little bit of thunder here, but the DVS library open houses that we've had, it's been phenomenal. In fact, we're going to end up storing those books and continuing to do that event routinely throughout the year. It's different than the library. That was brought up. Well, we have a library. No, this is come grab books and take them home and not return them. So significant difference. So we're gonna pull those aside as we continue that work over there. But I think we're gonna continue to have that as much as possible. It's been very positive. DVS as well, last week, we opened the doors, quote unquote, opened the doors, and Derry Diamonds ran some of their tryouts. So that part of that project that we've talked about in the relocation is up and running. So it's another community space that we are excited to see the community come in. I'm getting down to the end. I know it's the most I've done all year. Last week, it's funny, I was talking to Karen, so I thought this would be relevant. Last week, the hood fire alarm went off twice, almost exactly at the same time, 1:44, right at the worst time you could at a middle school dismissal. There was rumors going around that it was student-driven. It was not. We had a faulty sensor, so Jeremy and the fire department worked on that. And then last is the assistant superintendent search update. That was a lot of words. What's great, we had 19 applicants for the position. There's a committee of 11 people. They did some screening end of last week. They screened that down to 8 applicants. So those 8 applicants will be interviewed over the next 2 days. And then that screening process will move into a second round, and then eventually we'll bring a candidate forward to the board. So I kind of have made the joke that That means 19 people want to work with me. Unlike someone here, it's totally fine. But it's exciting when you have high-quality applicants that are looking to join the district. I think it's just a sign of what we have going on here. So thank you to all of them, and we'll be in touch. And that's it. Questions for Mike?
That was a lot, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Questions? Thank you, Mike. Next item is committee reports. We've had 3 committees meet since our last meeting, so we will start with an update from Jenna and the Finance Committee.
All right, so in finance, basically, Jane always gives a little synopsis, so I try to find the things that she didn't bring up, bring it forward. We are actually in a lull period, she said, until after the election, so we'll rev right back up after tomorrow, and the new budget gets going. We have one more Pinkerton bill that is coming up due. They recently have hired are hiring a special ed assistant and a reading assistant, so that is always good, and going through final hiring for some custodial positions. And we are not advertising it quite yet because we don't know the results of the election, but we might need a new treasurer after tomorrow. We'll see. But we definitely still need an assistant treasurer, which apparently in like 26 years that Jane has been here, we've never had one. So it'd be nice to get some interest and have an assistant treasurer. And she also spoke of transferring over where you get some new software for the finance department. They're looking for a new one that will apparently talk better to all the other ones and get away from paper, because Super Mike does not like paper very much. And that is pretty much finance in a nutshell.
All right. Questions? All right. Next will be Jason and his final update from the Facilities Committee.
Final, wow. Yeah, thank you. So we met last Thursday. Big chunk of our meeting and discussion was the South Range School, the work prioritization. So Jeremy and Mark Jobin reviewed the status, cost, and sequencing of South Range School facility projects. The Honeywell contract will be prepared and is pending final review. Structural roof engineer conducted an additional assessment to confirm project scope. And a lot of work here, we've said it all along, but work is going to require coordination across roof, mechanical, facade projects involving multiple contractors and multiple trades, so there's a lot of moving parts. Sort of initial early project timeline, summer of this year, boiler replacement and exterior veneer work. 26, potentially into 27, roof and mechanical systems, so HVAC upgrades will be phased over probably 2 construction seasons. And then if installation cannot occur immediately, upon delivery, Honeywell will store the equipment until it is ready for installation, which if I can highlight, that's pretty good considering some of the exterior factors that we may be faced in terms of headwinds, in terms, shipping and handling and costs and fuel and things like that. So other bond projects, LaValle Brensinger is developing specs and cost estimates for door and window replacements. And great news, current estimates are indicating that projects at each school are tracking under budget. So the administration will continue to review the originally proposed project list to determine whether any available surplus funds can support additional priority facility improvements within the approved bond scope. And then next steps for the committee is obviously finalizing the Honeywell contracts and continued engineering review and scheduling for roof and mechanical work. So that is constant and ongoing. And then, as I noted, just assessing potential use of surplus funds for other bond-funded projects. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
My pleasure.
Questions?
Thank you, Jason. You're welcome.
Next will be Jen and an update from Curriculum and Assessment.
Curriculum assessment last met on February 19th, Thursday, February 19th. Feels like many years ago now. We had 2 main topics of conversation during that meeting, both relative to the school board's goals and curriculum this year. The first was regarding the curriculum, the outward public-facing guides that Kim and her team are developing. She brought forth a couple more drafts that she's developed for feedback and for review. So that was good to see that she's making progress there with her team. The second area of conversation was regarding the 3-year rolling curriculum review, which is again a school board goal for the year. Kim had a document that she shared with the committee, which is right now an internal working document, which basically breaks down all the curriculum, K-8 in each content area, explains where each area would be at in terms of this 3-year rolling review. Eventually, the goal would be that this would be also a public-facing guide so that the public would be able to log online, see where we're at with our curriculum, and where we're at in each year for each curriculum area across the district. So those were the two things that we talked about during that meeting. There wasn't a lot of new discussion, but more progress updates from Kim and her team about what's been going on there. The only other thing that I'd like to add is that I know assessment scores got brought up tonight. Assessment scores have been a topic in the community over the past several weeks, particularly since the deliberative session. I think that's a very reasonable thing, given that tomorrow will be the first time that a warrant article actually states where the district is at in terms of proficiency scores. As chair of the curriculum committee, I don't frequently come here and talk very specifically about assessment scores, but I want to assure people that that doesn't mean that the work that's being done at the committee level isn't being informed by assessment scores. What do I mean by that? I mean that when we're thinking about, for example, this 3-year rolling curriculum review, we're thinking very well about where we're going to be making investments with our curriculum, the resources that we're investing in, the tools that we're investing in, the programming that we're investing in. We're going to develop this standardized process to do that by. The ultimate hope is that we're providing robust programming to our teachers so that, as an offshoot, we have higher scores for our district. So I think it's a very reasonable concern. I also think that we know that this is an area of need right now in our district. We're striving to do better. I'm very confident that under Mike's district leadership and with the direction of the board, we will do better. There are many, many factors that contribute to assessment scores. It is one measure of student success. There are many factors that contribute to these things, but unfortunately the district can't control for all of them. And so when we think about the things that we can control for, one of those things that we can control for is where we make curriculum investments, which is exactly what we're doing with this 3-year rolling review. So lots of discussion in the community. I think it's a good thing. And I think that we are going to be striving to do better, and that, as Mike said in his superintendent update, the bar is being raised. So happy to take questions. Nobody wants a question?
So I believe the Communications Committee canceled its February meeting, but Jamie, you did want to give an update?
Yeah. So, yeah, Communications Committee hasn't met formally in a little while, but there's been plenty of work going on anyway. So the main focus lately has been on the election. So admin has been very busy putting together all of the various ways the committee had decided to communicate the election and warrant article info to the public. Flyers with info about the warrant articles were posted around town. They published an ad in the Derry News this last week to inform voters. There were some cool videos made and shared on Facebook. Super Mike made a video with info on warrant article 2, the budget. Jane made a lovely video with info on warrant article 3. There was an error for the first one, I think, and I had to get reposted. But warrant article 3, transferring the $500K to the maintenance and repair trust fund. And Joe made a cool video too about the sale of the SAU for warrant article 5. And I don't know if everyone saw Jeremy's awesome video with the updates on all the facilities and bond projects that have been done and what's coming up next. So yeah, thank you to everyone who did all that work for getting all those videos out there. And I'm sure it's not easy making those videos. I don't know how you guys did that, but they were great and very informative and very well received, I believe. So thanks.
All right, thank you, Jamie. Any questions? We will move on to informational updates. It's been a month since we've last met, so there's more than a few items. First, I want to recognize Jason McLeod. Jason is not seeking re-election if we haven't made it obvious tonight, so tonight will be his last meeting as a member of the board. Jason, we ran together 3 years ago. It's been a privilege to serve on this board with you. going to miss the dedication, the level-headedness, the expertise you bring to the work. Derry and the school district are better for having you in that chair over the last 3 years. I got you a little something. I think you'll recognize this picture.
Is it from the snowstorm?
Yeah, that was a doozy.
So, yeah, Jason and I stood outside. And, how many hours was it? All day, from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. in the snow 3 years ago. And you knew right then how, that Jason was going to bring that level of dedication to the work, and you certainly have. So thanks you again.
Michael. Appreciate it.
Maybe he can come and stand with you tomorrow in the 65-degree
It'll
weather.
be a little nicer tomorrow. Next, I wanted to call attention to a joint workshop our board had with the town council and Mike Fowler a couple of weeks ago. Members of our board and the council meet regularly as part of the legislative task force, but this was the first time all the members have met jointly in a few years at least. It was a good opportunity for each board to discuss issues that impact us both and how we can better collaborate moving forward. I felt it was a beneficial meeting, and we all agreed it should be a regular occurrence, and our board and Mr. Flynn are looking forward to building on mutually beneficial collaboration with the town. That sort of dovetails into my next update. I wanted to draw attention to HB 1331, a bill that just passed the New Hampshire House, which would authorize the town to absorb the school district as a department. I think there's been some confusion in the community about what this bill accomplishes. It's enabling legislation, so the town would still need to vote for the absorption to happen. My understanding is it would be a vote on an amendment to the town charter. This would result in a school department coming under the town's existing tax cap without having to explicitly ask voters to apply a tax cap to the schools. If the schools came under the town charter, like with the town government, there would be no deliberative session, no public vote on the school budget or funds. To tie this back to our meeting with the council, no member of our board or the council seemed to think that this would be good for Derry, nor did any of the candidates that attended the candidate forum last week think that this was a good idea. So more to come on this. The bill goes to the Senate next. I don't believe the Senate has scheduled any hearings or votes as of yet, but we'll continue to monitor that. Mike mentioned it earlier, but it is close to my heart. So before we meet again, West Running Brook will be presenting their musical, Willy Wonka Jr. The shows are Friday the 20th at 7 p.m. and Saturday the 21st at 3 p.m. in the gym at Gilbert H. Hood. So if you could, please come out and support our students. The 5-6 musical they put together last year was fantastic, and I'm excited to see what they put together this year. And finally, I want to remind everybody to make a plan to vote in the election tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Pinkerton Academy Hackler Gymnasium. If you're listening to me right now, I would imagine I'll probably see you tomorrow, but please remind everybody you know to get out there and vote. It's going to be a beautiful day. Kids are off from school. No excuse not to take 15 minutes out of your day for something that is very important. As usual, our next year's operating budget is on the ballot. Been lots of opinions swirling around the budget over the last few weeks. I think the most important thing to remember here is that this is Mike's first budget. It's a tough one, but I think we're on the right track. Mike's emphasized bringing long-term planning and predictability to the budgeting process. Over the past 10 years, the average growth rate of the budget has been about in line with inflation, which is good, but the year-to-year growth hasn't been consistent or predictable. So we'll have a 0.5% increase one year, and we'll have a 5% increase the next. So the aim for the future is to keep those increases as level, as predictable as possible, but it's going to take at least a couple of years before you really see that consistency that Mike is looking to take hold. We have 2 facilities articles on the ballot. I've had several people ask me over the past couple of years as we pushed out the bond, that the bond is going to catch us up on a number of major facilities projects, but there's still so much more to be done. There are new needs that are going to be developed as the buildings continue to age. So what are we going to do differently to make sure we don't end up back in the same place? Now, this article is part of the development of a long-term capital improvement plan, which would be funded through a dedicated maintenance trust fund. You'll see Article 3 on the ballot is asking to approve a fund balance transfer to that trust, and I would hope the board would bring a similar article every year moving forward to fund that capital improvement plan that Mike is working on. So regularly funding this from the fund balance allows us to do that with no additional taxation. And once that money is in that trust, it can only be used for maintenance projects. So that would lock us into keeping pace with that capital improvement plan. The second facilities article has to do with the bond proceeds. So since the district received the bond proceeds last year, they've been in an interest-bearing account waiting to be expended on the projects. So with that interest revenue that's being realized because of the bond, we have the option to reinvest it back into facilities projects. As we've been going through the design and the engineering process for some of these projects, additional needs are being uncovered, and we want to make sure that everything is being done right the first time. If work on one project uncovers another unknown issue, we don't want to delay work on those issues while it's more economical to do so while contractors are already opening up the building for these other projects. The last ballot question you're going to see tomorrow is the sale of the SAU offices. There's been lots of chatter swirling online with this one as well. The relocation of the SAU staff to Derry Village has been a regular topic at our meetings. An advisory committee was formed earlier this year. We invited community members to participate in a study of options for the building. The SAU relocation was the recommendation that came out of that group. The board approved the plan, and it's been moving forward with staff expected to make the move later this year. And as Mike mentioned, we're already starting to utilize the multi-purpose space there for rentals. So the SAU building where the offices currently are, it's 125 years old. It includes old portables, and it's not going to be worth renovating, and it's not part of any long-term solution for the district. At DVS, these guys are doing minimal work on the center core and 2,000 additions over there, and those sections remain in serviceable condition. Quite a bit of the work, painting and things like that, are being done in-house. And yeah, like I said, the gymnasium is going to become a revenue source for the district. The two wings of the original building are going to remain unused with the possibility of utilizing that space down the road. So if you hear talk of the district spending millions on DVS online, that is completely unfounded. We were very clear about the amount of money that we were taking out of the contingency fund to do these renovations, and I believe the hope is that the actual cost of that is going to come in well below even that withdrawal. Now, if this measure fails, the move to DVS for the SAU offices is still happening. It would just mean that the current SAU building would sit vacant, we'd continue to have to maintain it, and we wouldn't be able to sell it. So again, please make some time to come out and vote tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Pinkerton Hackler Gymnasium. Did anybody else have any other updates?
I got a couple things. Just I should have mentioned during Anthony's update, but congrats to Pinkerton Academy Varsity Cheer, top team at New Hampshire State Division I preliminaries yesterday. So they are among the top 5 teams moving on to the state championship Thursday at the Hackler Gym. So best of luck to all of them. Hopefully they win the state championship again this season. And then listen, it's been an honor to serve this community. Thank you to my family for all the support. It's been a ride for sure. Thanks to all of you, present, past board members, present and past administration. Been a good ride, been a good run. I'll certainly miss some things and I won't miss others, but full confidence in Mike and team and this board to continue the work that has been done for the best of the community and the best of the students. So thanks to everybody for the support, conversation, ongoing dialogue, and wishing everybody best in the future.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
I want to give a shout out to Joe, who made the front page of Derry News last week. Did you see that? Yeah, you did. Is that the poster boy for Derry on his 1 foot out the door. You still have a few months here left, but it was nice to see them give you the honor that you deserved to be on the front page. Not quite above the fold, but I would say it was still counted.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Next time I want to be above the fold. That's all.
And to be very clear, Joe does not know how to put 1 foot out the door. So I've never seen someone more dedicated when they know they have another role ahead of them. I say several times, you get to tell everyone what to do next year, and he's like, not there yet. I'm like, okay. Joe's awesome.
All All right, if there are no other updates, our upcoming meeting schedule, our first meeting of the new board will be Tuesday, March 24th, followed by Tuesday, April 14th, both at 6:30 PM here at the Municipal Center. That will wrap up our public agenda. The board will be going into non-public session tonight. So I will take a motion to enter non-public session pursuant to RSA 91A, Section 3, Paragraph 2, subparagraphs A and C.
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Oh, second by Jen. The statute requires a roll call vote. So Jason?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Jenna?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Brenda? Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0. The board will now move into non-public. Good night, everybody.